Hello and welcome. In today's video, I thought I'd share tarot and oracle decks that I absolutely love because they are made of they're collage, which is typically not my favorite art style for tarot and oracle decks, but these are old antique photos used in the collage. So these are antique photo collage, and some of this stuff is just, I don't know, just sings to me. I love all things pretty much vintage, antique. Yeah, so let's start. So the first one is the first deck I ever got that was antique photo collage, and it's this. This is the Vintage Wisdom Oracle by Victoria Mosley, and this has to be, it is my most used oracle deck. So this one I use for myself, and I also use when I use in all readings for other people. Now I keep mine in the box when I'm not when it's not in use, and it's inside this red organza bag in the box. I trimmed mine. So I trimmed the borders off of mine, making them really look like a stack of antique photographs. So I trimmed the borders off mine, and then I did some edging with antique linen, just to give it, especially concentrating it on the corners to give it that real antique-y look. This has to be my favorite oracle deck with words on it. My all-time favorite, if I could only have one, I've said it before, is Soul Cards 1 and 2, combined deck, combined together. As far as oracle decks with words on them, by far, this one is the most versatile. This one is just, yeah. For me, it's the most versatile. It's the most used, and I just love how. Now, I did love the way it looked before with the borders around it, but I love it even more without the borders, because it just looks like, it really does look like a stack of old photographs or old postcards. And again, the keywords are really, there's a good variety of keywords, and these never fail to tie a reading together at the end, or to summarize a reading at the end, a tarot reading, sorry. So I absolutely adore this deck. It's been mentioned in all my videos all my favorites videos. This one comes up as, what my favorite oracle deck, and those kind of videos. And I adore this one. This is, how when you really like something, you wish you could buy it again. This is how I feel about this deck. Which takes me to my next one. So these are not in order of favorites, but more order of chronological, like when I got them, chronological order. Yeah, but this one coincidentally is also a favorite. The next one is independently produced. I have not seen much about it on YouTube. I did at first when it was first released, but then it's like, I don't know. It's by Marie Bento. It's Divine Muses. This is quite the chunky guidebook. To be honest, I haven't even begun to read the guidebook, because I thought that a deck that came with such a chunky guidebook would rely heavily on the guidebook. No, I've been able to use these cards without the guidebook. They come in their own little pouch, matching pouch, right? See how it matches? Matchy. I like it. It's one of those cushiony, and it's a really snug fit, so your cards don't rub together and become worn, like wear more. Like it's a nice snug fit for the cards. These two are photographic collage, antique photos. And the cardstock is a beautiful linen finish cardstock. These are classic tarot size. Let me see. Yeah, these are traditional tarot card size. I don't want to say, I don't know, classic is the right word, but traditionally what the size of a tarot card, like a Rider-Waite Smith, or that size. Love these. I love the aesthetics of this deck. It reads beautifully, and yeah. So that's my Divine Muses Oracle. The kind of readings I like to go, I guess I'll show you my third deck. And the third deck I just received this week, and it had been sitting on my wish list since I became aware of it, which was probably last year, maybe the year before. I don't know how long they've been around, but for sure, I want to say 2018 I became aware of them. And they just stayed in the periphery. And then in 2019 they went on my wish list, and they sat there until I needed a little retail therapy at the end of March. Mid-March? Towards the end of March. Because it took a couple of weeks for them to get here. And they are the Stretch Tarot. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy I finally pulled the trigger on these. I love everything about I probably should have mentioned, I love the backs on my Divine Muses. I love the backs on my Vintage Wisdom. Trimming the borders did not upset the look at all of the back of my Vintage Wisdom Oracle. There's probably just a little bit more on this side than on this side, but I don't see it, like, it's not something that catches your eye when you use them. Stretch Tarot. I adore the backs on the Stretch Tarot. And I ordered these off Joseph Stretch's website mid to late March. Anyway, they arrived pretty quick, like 2 weeks, and they were here. And again, they aesthetically work so well with Divine Muses and my Vintage Wisdom cards. So this is the kind of aesthetic so I find myself being drawn to. So this would be, for me, this would be a grouping of cards that I would use for a specific purpose. This is a grouping of aesthetics. I discovered during my depth year, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I'm going to mention it again in case you didn't watch the previous videos. When I first discovered TarotTube was late 2017, early 2018. And I went a little bit on a card binge, like tarot deck purchasing binge. And this was someone who just had like one, I've been a reader since 1986. I used the same tarot deck for like 20 years. I had a couple of, different ones, but I didn't have a collection. And so I went on this buying binge, and none of them resonated with me. None of the new ones resonated with me. So when I first started my channel, I'm saying I don't have a collection. Well, no, I didn't have a collection because they were just purchases, that I regretted. Anyway, during my depth year, my first one, 2019, is when I learned what it is that I like. And I moved a lot of that stuff, a lot of those decks along that did not resonate with me. And slowly, in 2019, there was no there were a few additions to my arsenal of decks, but now it is a collection because it has a rhyme, a reason. It has themes. So yeah, so depth here. Is that upside down? No, it's because he's the hangman. Yeah, it taught me what I liked, depth year. But more importantly, it taught me what I didn't like, because during depth year, I stopped bringing in decks, for the most part, except for the occasional ones that were a gift or birthday kind of thing, right? And I forced myself to look critically at these decks that I had accumulated because of FOMO in 2018. And yeah, I learned. The first thing I learned was what I didn't like, and then I moved those along, and it also helped me learn what I do like. So I don't know where I was going with this. I think the main point was I don't want to be a hypocrite. Like right now I do have a collection, because I find that, if you have more than, anything more than a couple of tarot decks is a collection. And I have 2 shelves. So yeah, of tarot and oracle. It's a lot easier for me to find an oracle deck that I resonate with than a tarot deck, because the tarot deck for me is something that, I guess because I use the same one, the same 2 decks pretty much for decades, which is the Plaidback Rider-Waite and then the Morgan Greer as my working decks. I feel like I need to have a really strong relationship with the tarot deck to be able to read it as tarot. So I do have far more oracle decks than I do tarot decks. And probably this video is indicative of Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is my favorite tarot card in the Rider-Waite system. And when an Eight of Cups is done really to my taste in a tarot deck, it makes the whole tarot deck. I can ignore any card I don't like if the Eight of Cups is really. And this, I don't know, this one, I love the ocean. So yeah, I'm just flipping. I'm not doing a complete flip through. This is just to have something, just to show you something while I talk in the background. So yeah. So this is the Stretch Tarot, and again, beautiful cardstock. I love the backs. I love the imagery, and it spoke to me straight out of the box. It has keywords, and the keywords, interestingly enough, I've been exploring Thoth. I haven't had as much time exploring Thoth as I wanted to have, but things got a little crazy and life, strange. Life got a little strange, work got really busy. So I haven't had the free time to really explore Thoth. Not that I won't, but it's something that I'm going to have to do when right now, when I'm off work. I want things that are, what's the word, light. I like crafting, and I like playing with cards that really speak to me easily. Where was I going with this? Stretch Tarot has keywords on the tarot cards. Interestingly enough, I find these keywords to speak to me more clearly, or speak my language more than Thoth keywords. So the keywords don't bother me. Also probably because they're really low key, right? The keywords are like tiny at the top, right? There's just like that strip in the word, but also because a lot of these keywords are my personal keywords for instance, the Three of Pentacles at the top says work. for me, the Three of Pentacles, my personal keywords for Three of Pentacles is work, contract, commitment. But it's an earthly commitment, a commitment to a job, a commitment to a task. So, yeah. Page of Wands, restlessness. See, like this, these words really, these keywords really, really speak to me. Coupled with the fact that I love these antique photos is just, yeah. And I'll stop on this. I love this death card. Very simple, straight to the point, yet. Okay, one more. Strength. Because it's my birth card. All right. One more. Nine of Cups, contentment. See, now contentment is also my personal keyword for Nine of Cups, but it also can the flip side of it, or the shadow side, or the flip side of contentment is complacence. So love it. Okay. What do I now? These I love to use for any. Oh, there's another deck. I have an honorable mention. It is not photographic. It's not photographic collage or antique photos, but it has photograph images that I find are helpful when I use when I use these decks all together in a reading. And it's Doreen Virtue and Dr. Brian L. Weiss's past life cards. Past life oracle cards. These must be a Canadian edition, and I'll tell you what. So if you're bilingual, you could be bilingual in any language. So if you are French speaking, you may have seen, and if you're in France or in Europe, you may have seen cartes oracle les vies antérieures. So, and I guess in French Canada, we have les vies passées. So the European box has past lives translated to oracle, previous lives oracle. And in French Canada, it's past lives oracle. I just thought that was something nerdy to bring up if you're French speaking, because I keep seeing, especially on YouTube, I keep seeing les vies antérieures, and I'm going, wait, mine says les vies passées. Anyway, same cards. So I guess the story with that is that these are still being produced in French. On Amazon, you could get these pretty inexpensively, like any other Hay House, but they're not Hay House. This is a different publisher, and the box is slightly larger. The cards are just slightly larger than your typical Hay House millimeters. I would say. I will say the same thing I've said before when I've featured these, and I will say the same thing that other people have said. They're very limited. Very, very limited. But I also watched different flip-throughs of the art history tarot for past lives. And as much as that's 78 cards and it's a tarot deck, that one is limited too. Although I'm still on the fence on whether to get that one, just because I do past life readings with regular tarot cards. Like I could use, I've always done them with my Rider-Waite, and now I'm curious to see how they turn out with, how they differ with the stretch tarot. I typically like to use these photographic this type of tarot and this type of oracle to communicate with spirits, just because I think it's a great medium to communicate with them, because it's something that the spirit recognizes from their life on earth, right? Anyway, I digress. I wanted to share these because mine are in French, because by the time I figured out I wanted these, the English version had, Doreen Virtue did her thing, and the English version of this Oracle deck, the Hay House version of this Oracle deck, was astronomical on Amazon, and it's like, no. I got these for $17 Canadian, which is like $14 US with free shipping. When I got these last, I want to say last summer. I don't know if they're still available. I know on Amazon.ca, but they probably are. I know Carte Oracle Lévis Antérieure, which is the same one, just it says Antérieure, previous instead of past, on it, the exact same cards, may still be available in Europe. Because again, different publisher has a different arrangement with Doreen Virtue. So a lot of her foreign language versions of her Oracle decks are still available. So keep an eye out if that interests you. So all this to say, these are limiting. So this is health. They're not limiting. These are limited. They're limited to what they can give you. But I have very excellent results when I pull one card from this deck in an entire spread, like as an added, a value add, or an added piece of the puzzle. You can't use. I can't imagine these being effective or accurate or helpful on their own, but to add to other decks that you're using as an additional piece of the puzzle, they're incredible. This one is imprisonment or enslavement. This is unrequited love. Now as much as I'm fluently bilingual, I do wish I had them in English. But it is what it is. Finances, trees, Asia, arts, masculine and feminine, farm. Now, interestingly enough, the few times I've used these cards for myself, the cards that would come out were right on. Like, I picked a card and it was farm, and I have a very strong pull towards farm life that I can't explain because I wasn't raised on a farm, I was raised in the city. So, yeah. So, farm, Atlantis, high priest or high priestess, orphan, forgiveness. So I like using these too. There we go. So that's what they look like, all fanned out on that side, and this is what the backs look like. So again, wished I had moved a little quicker and gotten them in English, but I'm bilingual, so they're okay. It's just that when I read for other people, it would be nice if they were in English for people that are English speaking. Anyway, so that's it. So the last thing I'm going to do is just pull one card from each of these decks, and just to show you visually how they look together. So here. So one thing I did want to, I probably should have mentioned at the start of my video, was that my last 3 videos were just silent videos where I'm sharing where I shared what my shelves look like, where I store my tarot cards, because, well, in Oracle decks, because that's like a before thing. I plan on reorganizing that whole space. I posted a video without sound of my perfume collection because some people had asked about it. What I probably should have mentioned was that I inherited a lot of that perfume, inherited it, and a lot the other, a good majority of it was found on thrift. I swapped for it, traded for it, and then there's a few that I you know, the modern ones, there's a few that I got, you know, either on points at Shoppers Drug Mart, which is a drugstore chain in Canada where when you make purchases you collect points and then you can use these points towards purchases. I thought I'd mention that because if you're someone who's interested in perfume and you're looking to start a collection, I'm telling you, you don't have to spend a lot of money. All you have to do is put the word out, I collect perfume. And people sometimes have stuff that they don't love, that they're just looking for a home for, which is how I got most of the stuff that's in that cupboard. And I designed that cupboard, which next time, when I organize it and I do a video, or maybe if I do a perfume, if I start doing a perfume collection series where I share with you different categories and stuff like that, I'll give you a better look of that cupboard, because I designed it. My father-in-law made it, and only after it was completed did I realize I designed a fridge. I literally designed a cupboard that looks like a refrigerator. So that was funny. So so what I did was while I was yakking away, yada yada yada, I pulled a card from each of these decks to show you how they work together. So the first one is Stretch Tarot, and it's Six of Swords, travel. And then the Divine Muses is Totem of Air. Now, Swords and Totem of Air, both air cards, right? The element of air. Then Purity, which also gives a very airy impression because of the veil. So that's look how beautiful this looks together, right? Now, I didn't have a question in mind, and I was talking about, you know, my other videos. Also, I did a sound video of my bookshelf behind me because it really does need an overhaul. It does need to be reorganized and some books rehomed. And the last video I did, or one of the second last video I did, was my witchy cabinet, which I know. I didn't really show you what was in there. I just showed you the stuff that was visible, like candles and closed boxes, and some of my oils. But you know, we're all very secretive about our craft. And forgiveness. So, and look, here's what I find. Here's what's beautiful about. And this is without doing it on purpose. You all know this, right? Because you're card readers if you're watching this. This is very airy. You have the birds in the birds in the sky. Purity gives a very airy, has a very airy feel to it. Totem of Air, and the Six of Swords. So, yeah. So that's it for this video, where I share my photographic collage decks and this honorable mention, which is not collage, it's just photographs. Basically, I like to use these for, like I said, readings where I communicate with spirit, although pretty much any deck I use, I'm communicating with spirit. And past life readings, which are always fun because they either resonate or they don't. And when they resonate, they're really meaningful. When they don't resonate, well, they were still fun, right? It's not like the outcome of a situation hinges upon a past life reading. It really is. I think it's a wonderful pastime. It's a wonderful way to practice using your cards and reading cards. And that's pretty much it. So again, the decks I shared today were the Vintage Wisdom Oracle by Victoria Mosley. This is widely available metaphysical shops, online. It's mass produced is what I'm trying to say. Divine Muses is independently produced. The creator is Marie Bento, and yeah, these are just gorgeous. And lastly, it's the Stretch Tarot by Joseph Stretch, also independently produced and available on his website. So yeah, the Divine Muses and Stretch Tarot is still available online. Vintage Wisdom, the only one that, this one too is available if you want it in French. It's either Les Vies Passées or Les Vies Antérieures. And Google search. Check out the websites that sell books, like Amazon, or if you're in Canada, Archambault, or Renaud Bré. Anyways, that's it for me for this video. I might record another one. We'll see how the daylight holds up. And I'm wishing you all, if you're still with me in like half an hour, oh my goodness, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. And again, I'm wishing you all, or not again, finally, I'm wishing you all a beautiful day. Stay safe, stay healthy. Wash your hands, don't touch your face. Stay home.